All right, we're going to go to Joe Burrow right now on this one. So we had that. We touched on his injury in a previous episode, but um, right now we just recently had a report come out that he's expected to be ready for contact by mid-May. He had his surgery right around Thanksgiving, on November 27th, on that wrist surgery. So it looked really painful, but I remember you were pretty in at the time you were pretty optimistic that he was going to have a full recovery by 2024. Could he be recovered and really, fingers crossed for our non-YouTube audience, uh optimistic for a regular training camp this year?
No, yeah, I think he'll be ready by training camp. I don't necessarily have a lot of reasons to be concerned for him in terms of the procedure. Um, you're slightly concerned for him longevity. Again, like these wrists, obviously you're talking to a guy who worked with a lot of baseball players. These wrist, forearm, inside the wrist joint type of injuries, they can be stubborn, they can be finicky, they can last, they can stick around. I think the best case scenario for Joe Burrow is he's just sort of sore in his wrist all the time. He lands on it every now, jams it, is on the injury report a handful of times, but it never really impacts what he does. It's not everything, right? I don't think it's going to be like a career altering, issue, but it is something to keep in mind from a longevity standpoint. If you're in dynasty leagues, once you get towards maybe the end of Joe Burrow's career, but it's something not to worry about right now. He'll be ready by the time training camp starts, and I don't necessarily anticipate, any complications. But again, I'll knock on wood because those wrist injuries can be kind of finicky.
And one thing to keep in mind about if he's full bore when it comes to training camp. Remember, he did not have a normal training camp last year because of the calf injury, so he was really on the sidelines for much of it. He had 4 games of 20-plus fantasy points last year, but 3 of them came after their Week 7 bye. So it feels like he kind of needed that time to kind of get back into it. So I think, he's going off as the QB7, so people have not forgotten about him. He's going in front of Dak Prescott, which is kind of interesting. Depending on how the schedule breaks out, I might put Dak ahead of him, but still, I think fantasy community is still waiting for big things from him. And let's hope for once. I mean, since his rookie year, I think that was the last time he had a regular training camp. So